Just because something is cheap doesn't mean you should buy it, but most of these are pretty top notch. Hi guys, my name is G.P.S. and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought that I would share with you my cheapest Hermes pieces from 5 different categories, from SLGs through jewelry all the way to bags. I did a similar video showing you my most used pieces from different categories of my wardrobe, which was kind of a similar concept to this. So in case you're interested in seeing my most worn pieces, then I'll have that video linked up here. But today we're here to talk about the cheapest pieces in my collection. And while these might be the most affordable pieces that I own from Hermes, it doesn't mean that these are any less functional or less appreciated than some of my more intricate pieces. I love and would recommend most of these. Some of them are only okay, but I'll promise to explain that later on. So if you want to see some great entry-level pieces from Hermes, then please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and keep on watching. Before we get into the actual products, I spent hours and hours last night trying to go through my collection in my head to try to decide which one of my pieces are the cheapest. And in case I missed something that's perhaps cheaper than these that you might have seen in a previous video of mine, then please let me know in the comment section down below. But I'm pretty confident that I was able to narrow it down to the cheapest pieces in my collection. So without further ado, let's have a look at them. Let's start with SLGs because I know it's an extremely popular category. And I think my cheapest SLGs would have to be my Ulysse notebook covers. In case you have never seen these, they have been around for absolute ages. And they are nothing more than a really simple leather notebook cover that you can buy inserts for. You can buy the inserts both from Hermes or from pretty much any stationery store, but I did buy mine from Hermes. You can buy these refills with 3 different kinds of paper. So you can buy them with lined paper, you can buy them with plain paper, and I think they also make a calendar. But as far as I can remember, the calendar is pretty old school. So even though I use this as my agenda, I just got it with plain lined paper. And I did enjoy this notebook for a while, especially when I worked in an office. This was my primary notebook that I took with me to meetings, because if you show up with a notebook like this to any meeting and you're taking notes in something like this, people will automatically assume that you're really well put together. So if you're someone who works in an office, or you know someone who works in an office, or someone who likes to take notes, then I think this is a great piece to pick up. I personally enjoy this, but the reason why I have not been using this is because mine is in size PM, and then I have another one in size PM in blue. This is in black, and then this is in the color Bleu Nuit. And I do really like both of these. I use them for a long time, but now I wish I had picked them up in a larger size. The ones that I have here are in size PM, which is not actually the smallest size. There's a smaller size which is called the mini, but then there's also MM, which is a size bigger, and then there's also GM, which is the largest size. And I really wish I had gone for the largest one because I'm someone who's really specific about handwriting, and I much prefer bigger sheets of paper. So I wish I had gone for the largest size, but oh well, I have 2 of these. So I have been keeping these on my desk, and I've just been using it to take notes in this one. And I actually ended up turning this into a photo album, which is perfect because you can just buy the plain papers from Hermes, and then you can essentially just put whatever inside of this. And I've been putting Polaroids in this. So these are an old school Hermes classic. I think most Hermes lovers and collectors have seen these or maybe owned one of these at one point. So I would definitely recommend these. I think they are beautifully made and they would work perfectly for someone who likes to take handwritten notes. And I really cannot complain about anything other than my own decision to buy them in size PM, because I feel like if I had gone for a larger size, I would still be using these. Another product I own, which is also quite a bit less expensive than some of the regular pieces that Hermes sells, is their Calvi card holder. I really quickly wanted to touch on that because I have been getting a ton of questions on the Calvi card holder, and I was supposed to bring one out, but it seems like I didn't. But I'll make sure to put a picture of it up here. It's essentially this really simple leather pouch, I would call it, that is sold as a card holder. It's extremely simplistic. It's just this piece of leather that's folded in around the edges, and you can keep cards, cash, receipts, a key or two in there. I quite enjoyed my Calvi card holders for a couple of years. I bought several of them, but I really want to make sure that you're aware that it cannot be compared to an actual card holder that has divisions inside of it and that is really well organized. The Calvi is much more simple than that. I personally enjoyed it because you can stack quite a few cards in there on one side. You can use the other side for cash or to hold a key or two, or even maybe receipts. But I don't want to get your hopes up because it's going to be nothing like a regular card holder. There are people out there who absolutely love it and appreciate the simplicity, and there are people out there who cannot stand it. Because if you're someone who carries multiple cards and you need access to specific cards at certain times, it's going to drive you crazy to keep digging for the card that you need. So you have to weigh the pros and the cons, but in case you're interested in a more in-depth review of the Calvi card holder, make sure to leave one of my videos where I talk about it up here. I'm not the biggest shoe person, but I still wanted to touch on the shoe category because I know it's still quite popular. And I think my cheapest shoes from Hermes would have to be my replaced sneakers. I talk about them in my Hermes shoe collection video. They are a pair that I absolutely loved for the longest time. They're super simple, lightweight, and quite comfortable. You can easily dress them up or dress them down. You can wear them to the beach with a pair of shorts, but you can also wear them to a restaurant with jeans or even with a more formal outfit. I absolutely love them. And while they're quite simple, they do feature a couple of interesting designs. They, for example, have this H pattern on the front that you can only see if you put your feet right next to each other. But in case you are interested in a more in-depth review, then make sure to check out my shoe collection video, which I will link up here. But they are a great pair of shoes to invest into in case you're new to the world of Hermes and you're looking for a pair of sneakers that can easily go from day to night. Let's move on to fashion jewelry. And if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know I'm not the biggest advocate for fashion jewelry. I much prefer to invest my money in actual fine jewelry. But Hermes does make quite a few really cool and fun fashion jewelry pieces. And the cheapest one in my collection, I think, would have to be my Behapi bracelet, which I do have a few of here. And then I'm also wearing one. And I'm pretty sure I have more of these somewhere in my wardrobe. But in case you have never seen these, they are essentially this really simple piece of leather that is turned into a bracelet that have the H-buckle closure on the front, designed by Pierre Hardy. And what's really cool about them is that they are actually reversible. So you can either wear them as black or you can wear whichever color is on the other side because the closure actually turns as the bracelet does. So they're quite fun. I have one here with matte black leather. Then I have one with a little bit of a shinier leather and a shiny finish hardware, which is a tan on one side. And then this one is blue on the other side. And then I also have one of the double tours here, which means that it wraps around your wrist twice. And then there's also a third version, which wraps around your wrist, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 times. But personally, the double tour is my absolute favorite. And this is just one of those pieces that if you put this on with the most simplistic outfit, you can put this on with a white t-shirt and a pair of blue jeans. They just add something to an outfit that makes it look 10 times better and 10 times more put together. And people will immediately think that you spent hours thinking about what you're going to wear. I don't know, there's something about these that just really pulls an outfit together, especially if you color coordinate them with maybe a belt or a pair of shoes. I really enjoy these. You definitely don't need 3 or 4 or 5 of them. If you have 1 or 2, maybe just even 1. But in case you have been thinking about investing in some fashion jewelry from Hermes, I can only say great things about the Behapi bracelets. Oh, and by the way, the Behapi bracelets start at $310, and then I think they go up to $330, $350, depending on how many times they can wrap around your wrist. But the single tours are $310. And then the double tours, which means that it goes around your wrist twice, is $330. And they come in a bunch of different colors and even finishes. You can buy them with palladium hardware, rose gold hardware, or just regular gold. The choice is yours. And then I quickly wanted to give a shout out to the cheapest fine jewelry piece in my collection, which is the mini punk bracelet. This is from Hermes's Punk collection, which is this very soft and thin little chain bracelet that has a safety pin detail on the front. And I actually have quite a funny story about this. The reason why I ended up picking this up is because I was looking for, I believe, either a lizard or an alligator Calvi bracelet, and they had it in store, but I thought I would go and have a look at the fine jewelry offerings that Hermes had. And I ended up finding this, and I think this solid rose gold piece was maybe $100 more expensive than the alligator Calvi, so it was no question. I had to go for this one because it's actual rose gold, whereas the other one is plated, if that. So that's the reason why I ended up picking this up, and I definitely do not regret it. I have not been wearing this for the past couple of years because I think it looks best when it's stacked with something else because it's just so thin and delicate. And I have been really wearing only one bracelet. So in case you are really big on your arm candy and you love stacking your bracelets, then I think this looks incredible as part of a stack. You can put this on with even more solid pieces like the Love bracelet or the Justin Clou from Cartier, because it really helps to break up a more solid stack. But you can also put this on with more simple, maybe even fabric bracelets. I think it just adds kind of a nice, cool, youthful touch, especially considering that it has a safety pin on it. And I also love the Hermes closure that they use, which is super simple. You just put this through this little hole here. And funny enough, it actually became inspiration for one of their new fine jewelry collections, which I think is absolutely genius. This is how the bracelet looks fastened. So as you guys can see, it's quite an interesting and an aesthetically pleasing design that they have going on, even with the closure. So it's interesting that this has become an inspiration for an entire fine jewelry collection that they have recently come out with. It's a little too delicate for me to wear by itself on a daily basis, but in case you have a thinner wrist, or as I mentioned, if you love stacking bracelets, then I think this is a great piece to invest in, especially because, as I mentioned, it's not terribly expensive. Also, in case you're into packaging, if you pick up a fine jewelry piece from Hermes, it comes in quite a different box than their regular pieces. It comes in more of a solid, I don't know if this is a wooden box, but it feels definitely much more substantial than just a regular Hermes box. So I thought that I would point it out in case you are really into packaging. And before we move on to bags, I thought I would quickly touch on my cheapest bag charm from Hermes, which you would think is my Rodeo in size PM, which are $455, but it's actually not. The cheapest bag charm that I own, which to be honest looks much cheaper than a Rodeo, is this little orange bag charm from Hermes, which came out last year, which are $445, so they're $10 less expensive than a Rodeo in size PM. But I definitely do not think that this is worth the money. I was really excited for this bag charm to launch because this is an exact replica of the iconic orange shopping bag that Hermes has. But when I actually got this, I was kind of shocked to see the quality. It's definitely not on par with the Rodeos. It looks so much, I don't know, cheaper. It's just not really well put together. It looks like something that you would pick up from Etsy, not from Hermes, for nearly $500. But it's something that I ended up buying because it's a part of Hermes history. And while we're on the topic of history, a little bit of information about Hermes. Did you know that orange was not actually their original branding color? They only introduced the orange as part of their branding during the Second World War, when there was a shortage of the original material that they used for their branding and their packaging, which I believe was like an ivory color. And because there was a shortage of that paper that they used, they had to go for the only color that was available, which is orange. And they ended up sticking with that, and now it has become one of the most iconic colors for a brand out there. And thank God they did, because I personally love the Hermes orange, even though I'm not a fan of the color orange in general. But I thought I would add this to my collection because it's a part of Hermes history, and I actually ended up with two of them because I bought one and then I got another one for Christmas. So now I have two of them. I have never worn any one of these because I don't know. I first of all don't like the quality, and also I'm not someone who would put this little orange bag onto one of my bags, but maybe one day I will. And this is the cheapest bag charm that I own from Hermes. And last but not least, let's reveal my cheapest bag from Hermes, which is actually one that I don't have anymore. Fun story, I left this piece on an airplane almost a year ago now with a brand new MacBook inside. and it was never recovered, so the person who found it must have had a great day. But I still wanted to talk about this piece because I absolutely loved it, and I always thought it was a really fun piece by Hermes, and it's their Bane or Bane pouch bag. I'll make sure to put a picture up here, but it's essentially this really cool flat pouch that's made of this kind of neoprene-like water-repellent material because it's from their beach collection. And you can really use this for whatever you want to. As I mentioned, I use this pouch as my MacBook case, but you can use this for really whatever you want to. You can wear it as an actual clutch bag, you can use it as a makeup bag, or just as a catch-all inside of another bag. You can take it to the beach, which I did a couple of times because it fits everything that you need. Your sunscreen, your AirPods, your sunglasses, maybe even a book. So it's really a great piece because you don't have to worry about anything spilling on it or getting sand on it if you're on the beach, because you can easily wipe it off. There is really nothing that's made of leather on it other than the little zip. So it's really just an easy and effortless piece to own. And I think it would be the perfect accessory for the summer. It comes in a couple of different sizes. Mine was, I believe, the medium size, but you can get the smaller one, which would work just as well as a makeup bag or as an actual clutch bag. And it also comes in some really fun and vibrant summery colors like yellow and red. I bought mine in like a deep navy blue color, which was absolutely perfect. And I kind of forgot about this piece. Well, clearly because I left it on an airplane. And because of that reason, I completely forgot to repurchase it, but I really should because it's such a cool, fun piece. And as I mentioned, it's just so easy to wear and make any outfit look a little bit more upscale, considering that it has the Hermes logo on the front. And I think quite recently they have just come out with an updated version, which I think is called the Neo Bane or Neo Bane, which doesn't have the Hermes print on the front. Instead, it has the logo embossed into the fabric, which is great if you're going to take it to the beach because you don't have to worry about the print rubbing off. So you can go either way. You can get the Neo Bane pouch, which has the embossing, or you can get the original one. I personally like the original one, but I understand it might not be the best choice for someone who's going to take it to the beach constantly. But I think either one would be the perfect bag to add to your summer collection. And if I mention the price, it's only going to make things even better, which is quite an odd thing to say about an Hermes piece. But the Bane pouch starts at about $300, and it slightly goes up in price as you go up in size. But I have to say, it's worth every penny. And this is it, guys. This completes my video on my cheapest Hermes pieces. Please let me know in the comment section down below if you would consider picking any one of these up. Or let me know what's the most affordable luxury piece in your collection. And if you enjoyed this, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.